In spite of being given a massive spanking, some people just never give up, do they? They just don't know when their time's done. Because apparently, the appetite for progressive politics is still there, but we need to deliver by working together. Now, who are the we? Well, apparently it's a very small we, isn't it? It was like this big in the last election, but now it's like this big. It's like really small. It's like, that's fucking small. That's mad small, that is. But they will persevere, apparently. Look at this. This is this gurney idiot here. I mean, who is this? Parties need to stop this squabbling, says Labour Moran, which almost sounds like moron. So that's okay, isn't it? Never mind about that. You could be called Layla the Moron. Yeah, that's what they called you at school. I don't know. And here's a couple of grinning idiots. I mean, look at this. That's apparently that's leadership. That is apparently that's people you're supposed to look up to and go, yep, them. I want them to lead me into battle. I want them to pass legislation. I want them to, have look after my interests. I want them to deal with, the menaces that might attack our country. If we went to war, it's them two you'd want leading the way, wouldn't you? That's what you'd want. Strong, powerful, strong, reliable leadership. It's these two people. It's them. What's she going on about? This Brexit-driven. I don't like the way they put the T there in the circle and the square. Because it's like his Brexit. It's don't do that. It annoys me. This is on the internet. We don't need this. The T in the circle. I don't need it. This Brexit-driven general election has delivered the earthquake we were all expecting. Well, that's not what you were saying before. The warning tremors have been present for some time. Major council seat losses for the Tories last May, surges in polling for smaller parties like the Lib Dems. Well, they admit they're a small party now. And the Brexit Party in the Europeans. This kind of volatility was unprecedented in modern times. Yet while we knew where the fault lines were, no one could predict where the epicenter of the quake would hit. On the face of it, we now have our answer: the failure of the Lib Dems or Greens to make any progress, and the catastrophic performance of the Labour Party means the casualties primarily lie on the centre and left of politics. That's right. Apparently, it's in the centre. Apparently, the Liberal Democrats, Labour, and the Green Party are the centre. Apparently, they're the centre. This is why they're so out of touch, and they've sort of missed the point. Is that no, their centre went over here. I'm going to my left side right now. It might look like I'm going to an opposite side for you. I can't work out. I'm too dyslexic to understand mirrors. It's over here. So the centre was here, but your centre's over here. And that's why you might be a little bit confused. Because someone probably redefined, because they probably redefine what a centre is, because this is 2019. This is the year of the clown, and what you once knew, which was ingrained in language, is now meaningless now. So you don't really know what the fuck's going on, because they just changed it. They went, no, that's not what it is. You just woke up one morning and went, no, it's not that anymore. Like, oh, is it? Shit. A door's not a door, a window's not a window. It's all fucked up. You call the double glazing man, and he says, no, I'm the wrong person for that job. I want double glazing done. My windows, it's cold. No, that's not what it means anymore. You need to call someone else. I don't know who, because they didn't tell us that much, but they told us we are not them anymore. Yeah, that's what you got to deal with, isn't it? But we don't have time to wallow. Yeah, we'll see how that one pans out. There is too much at stake. Our country is crying out for change. Inequality is increasing. Our poorest children go to school hungry. Our NHS and schools are crying out for more funding. And universal credit is leaving our most vulnerable with a safety net so incomplete that far too many families are turning to food banks. Look, one, I suppose my mum reckons that the NHS is overstaffed. And we have some quite bitter experience with the NHS this year, so that's a surprise one. Poorest children go to school hungry. Well, they should eat better. Universal credit. I was on universal credit for a bit, and I really don't understand what all the fuss was about. Like, it was perfectly straightforward. Like, really straightforward. And food banks, well, people like free shit, don't they? You could argue against all of this easily. Whether all of it's true or not, I don't know. All I read is different statistics from different people that mean different things. Like I said, we have no idea what's going on. 1 minute the sky is blue, the next minute is pink. Meanwhile, racism and hate crimes are rising. Well, actually, the reports are rising, but convictions are going down. Or is it? Do we know? No, we probably don't. We don't know. We don't know anything. This has to stop. Our country deserves so much better, and despite Johnson professing to be a one-nation Tory, it will only be a matter of time before his mask slips, as it has done already with the dog whistle politics. I like that term now, isn't it? Dog whistle politics. How people are whistling at dogs. What is it? Oi, over here. Over here. Come over here. Is that what it is? Oi, over here. Is that what it means? We saw before and during the election, those small liberal values are under threat and we must defend them. So what now? I don't think you know what they are. Well, there are glimmers of hope. First, it is worth remembering that over 50% of the population voted for centrist or left-leaning parties. So that, who are these centrist parties? I have no idea who they are. Who are they? The Lib Dems increased our vote share by 4.2% and picked up over 1 million new voters, despite losing a seat under the punishing first-past-the-post electoral system. Oh no, the system. It was the system that made me this way. Meanwhile, this landslide has been achieved by a rise of just 1.2% of the Tory vote. Well, it was enough, wasn't it? I do not accept that this country has rejected centre-left progressive politics. No, the country hasn't. We're all fine with it. You know, say what we like about Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, but you know, the centre-left thing was okay. There was the warmongering and shit we didn't like, and finance, and you know, the whole thing about, you know, you can buy 2 houses and sell a. There was a couple of problems, but the general message was all right. You know, no one had a problem. That's why he had a landslide, because he wasn't a fucking lunatic. You know, you looked at Tony Blair and what he was saying, and I was like, yeah, that's all right. You know, Conservatives moved over to Labour. Funny enough. So why did all these Labour supporters move over to the Conservatives if they're so far from the centre? Well, it's just everyone. Oh, I suppose everyone just became far right, didn't they? They just woke up in the morning and went, you know, I fucking hate foreigners. You know what I'm saying? I hate all minorities. That must have been what happened. It's like a Day of the Trippists type situation. People just woke up and went, oh, I fucking hate those Johnny foreigners. Why don't they fuck off? Yeah? All their diversity. Oh, I don't like it. Why? I don't know. It just happened. Just woke up. That was the way it was. Yesterday, apparently, I campaigned for human rights and anti-racism, but I woke up this morning a racist because they told me I am. You know, I can't get my double glazing done. I'm a racist now. I just don't know what the fuck's going on. It's very interesting how the world can change. Just like that, apparently. So that's fine. Which leads me to one inescapable conclusion. What does it say? Oh, I think. Yeah. So yeah, no. So just to reiterate, the country hasn't rejected centre-left politics. They've rejected progressive politics because it is a disguise. It's not progressive at all. It's quite regressive, in fact. It is. It's sort of a lot of it is using to determine people's character based on things are out of their control, whether they're, whether they're gay or a different colour. You know, it's that seems to be more important than who they are as a person, which is just which is regressive, because that's what racists do. That's why I never understood it. I was like, well, you're anti-racist, but see, it's very confusing. Which leads me to one inescapable conclusion. We need to stop this squabbling and come together in a cooperative force to defeat the now united right. We must reclaim that centre-left ground in politics which sits wide open for the taking, and no one party can do this alone. No one party can do this alone. One of them's done it. And it's been done, and centre-left has done it, but it's been done. Did you forget? Did you forget the achievements? Oh, it's impossible. Not like it's ever happened before. Remember the landslide victory that happened with centre-left politics? Do you remember it? You would have been alive. You must have remembered. They had a song. Brian Cox was playing the fucking keyboard. This will be easier said than done. I watched in despair as the final days of the campaign seats that only the Lib Dems could take off the Tories, like Finchley and Gold is Green. Gold is Green. Don't know if you've heard about Gold is Green, but they're probably not going to be voting Labour. And cities of London and Westminster were flooded with Labour activists. God, it must be a terrifying day. It's been Orthodox Jew and Gold is Green. All those Labour activists running around, they must have shat their pants. Thereby, it's a good joke, isn't it? That's a joke. Thereby depriving Luciana Berger and Shuka Umuna, hitherto champions of Labour values, their seats. Oh, I'm bored. Those and many other seats that only the Lib Dems could take off the Tories, and yet the hatred of Labour for the Lib Dems meant vengeance was more important than a common goal. The clarion cry is that we are yellow Tories, and because of coalition, we deserve it. Well, you did, didn't you? You know, you really did jump onto that, didn't you? You know, I mean, Labour are fucked up, but you done fucked up too, which has fucked it up for everybody. So congratulations on playing yourselves and everyone else. Yet if that were true, how can it be that on child poverty, for example, when examined by think tanks like the Resolution Foundation, I don't know who funds them or who runs them, so I'll just have to assume they're okay, the Lib Dems policies, right, listen to this, would be even more effective than Labour's. Oh, wow, they were more effective. Oh, but you know the problem is, you got a woman in charge, well, you had a woman in charge who you wouldn't even let babysit your kids, let alone pass legislation that would affect your children. A woman who, in an interview, couldn't even tell you the definition of what a woman is. And she is a woman, which is fascinating. Because I could tell you what a man is, because I am one. I mean, I've been a man my whole life. It's one of the constant things that's been in my life is knowing my biology. So that's not really, I don't care what all your fancy ideas. You know, there's a competence test, and one thing that people look to out of respect for people is, they like people to seem competent. Okay, and if someone doesn't seem competent, then people won't have faith in them. And like I said, she just came across as someone you wouldn't let babysit. Wouldn't let babysit your kids. So that's it's not good for her. Meanwhile, there was great anger on the side of Lib Dems over Corbyn's equivocal stance on Brexit. Many believe that he had come round to a referendum sooner. We could have been fighting that instead of general election, giving us the opportunity to stop Brexit altogether. In our righteousness lay our demise. No, it's because most of the country still wants Brexit. That's your problem there. Because that's kind of what... Did you not get the message? They sent a memo out. Millions of people queued up on a winter's day to vote and sent you a memo saying, no, that's not the fucking one. It used to be a thing that you'd have tactics to win, you see. You should have called someone like Jose Mourinho or Alex Ferguson, a serial winner, someone who's won a lot of stuff, and just ask them, like, yo, what's this thing called tactics again? And they'll tell you what tactics are, and you could have implemented the concept of tactics, and you could have won. That's all you needed to do. So I'm not sure what went on there. It's a bit strange. For the sake of our country, this has to stop. It's time to put away the swords for a bit and cast our eyes to the horizon rather than our navels. Much of what will happen next will be determined by whoever the Lib Dems and Labour choose for their next leaders, and especially if Labour can be wrestled back from its more extreme wings. Though there are ideological differences between our parties, we do have common aims and common values, and we can work together to deliver them. What are they? Because no one seems to know. Everyone, if there was a common goal and a common aim, the message got missed. You know, the messenger was bad and the message was bad. So you got two losing factors there. Cooperation does not have to mean cancellation. We can remain distinct while we face our common foe. Liberal Democrats already have a clear record for this with the Green Party. And Oxford, West and Abingdon, my constituency, oh really, is an example of us having more in common than that which divides us. The effort that won me the seat unexpectedly in 2017 was people forgot to turn up, possibly, resulted in a huge swing in some seats in 2019. We can and should do more of this. But what happened to it? You know, I like Nick Clegg. He was someone you could set your watch by. He had a good haircut. He talked sense. You looked at him and went, he's all right. I'd vote for him. He's okay. He's not a loon bag. What happened to people like that? Where have they gone? Did they all get murdered? That's very bizarre. Where did these people go? Why aren't there more of them? What are they doing? They're becoming YouTubers now instead. Though we are all tired and wearied from the fallout, we must have hope in the darkest hour, because it is truly a dark hour, because Voldemort is in charge apparently now, or something like that. You know, or fucking, you know, the evil emperor from the Star Wars film. A single candle can guide us towards the light and away from the nationalism or populism that seeks to extinguish our spark. Yeah, but some people say that is the new spark. I don't know. Imagine how much faster we might get there if we lit those candles collectively and worked together. Yes, well, the fact is, you've missed the point, is that you're totally out of touch and you're not centre left anymore because of the lunatic stuff you said. And you wanted to reverse Brexit, and that's not what people want. Even Remainers probably don't want to reverse Brexit now. Everyone's just had enough. It's like, let's just get it done with, please. You know? You go to the dentist and you're like, oh, I've got to get this tooth removed, and it's just aching and aching. And you're like, well, I want a second opinion. And then eventually you're like, oh, do you know what? Just fucking pull this thing out, man. I'm done. Can we just get on with it? Can we talk about something else? You know, can we do something else now, please? Anyway, well done for Layla the Moron. For just further demonstrating how little everyone knows about everything. Fantastic.